Hi, everyone, and welcome to our Tips from the Top training. My name is Cramm, and today I'm going to be talking to you a little bit about time management. And for those of you who don't know me, this is something that is pretty near and dear to my heart. It's something that I work with all the time. To give you a little bit of a snapshot about me, I, of course, am a Beachbody coach through what started as something as a hobby that's turned into quite a bit of a passion, and I also work full-time. I am a corporate recruiter with a Fortune 25 company. I have a really, really great job. But when I first started and I took that leap and becoming a coach, I was actually working with a third-party agency, smaller firm, really good organization. But for me, I wanted something that could give me that sense of freedom, that sense of control. I'm the oldest of four, and all of my sisters, my sister-in-law, they stay home with their kids. And that was always something that I had a little bit of stay-at-home mama envy. And so I always wanted to have that opportunity to, financially feel secure enough to walk away from my full-time job to spend time with my kids and be a good mom and a good wife, as opposed to kind of the full-time working mom that lives in corporate America. So want to share with you some tips that I have put into practice and I'm still continuing to develop over the past year here, but things that I've tweaked a little bit along the way that have been really, really helpful. And, even to get started, I have to share a funny story. So of course, my husband, of course, we're life partners, but we're business and success partners as well in this coaching business. And he kind of chuckled when finding out that I was doing a call about time management, because I'm always attached to my work. And so these are tips that I'm sharing with the hopes of inspiring you, giving you some great takeaways as well, but also to remind me on some of the, my own medicine that I need to take a dose of. So before getting started, I'm going to share my screen here with you. So bear with me for just a minute. And I'm going to walk you through my couple tips just to get you started. So hopefully you can see the starting screen. So let's talk about the idea of multitasking and leading our own time, being the boss of our own schedule. And we want to work smarter and not harder. One of the things to keep in mind, of course, we all talk about personal development and how vital that is and the success in our business. There's time management classes. We read about this in our books. There's all different kinds of electronic or paper-based planners to organize and prioritize our day. But there comes a point where there's almost so many options to really where it makes it confusing. Okay, so what do we now do with this information and how do we put it into practice? And so, many of us kind of feel like, okay, I feel like I still can't get everything done that I need to get done. I'm here to tell you, we all, regardless if you are a full-time working mom or dad, or you stay at home with your kids, or whether you are a student, or whatever your circumstance may be, we all share the same 24 hours in a day, period. And the answer of how we can tackle all of this at once is honestly quite simple. And realistically, everything that we've ever learned previously about managing our time is an absolute complete waste because it doesn't work. So before we can even manage our time, we have to first understand what in the heck time is. So if you pull up in a dictionary and you look at the definition of time, it simply states this is the point or period that things occur. So to keep it simple, time is when stuff happens. And there's two different types of time that we're going to talk about here. There is clock time and there is real time. So let's talk about clock time here. This is where there's 30 seconds in a minute, 60 minutes in an hour, 24 hours in a day, 365 days in a year. All time passes equally. So when someone turns dirty 30, they are exactly 30 years old. They are no more, no less. So in real time, all time is relative. It flies or it drags depending upon what you're doing. And I can give you an example. Last year, Jeremy, my husband, and I built a new house. We had to go to the DMV. We had to update our driver's license with our new mailing address. And I can tell you 2 hours at the Department of Motor Vehicles, sweet baby Jesus, felt like 12 years. But yet, for parents, if we have a child who's turning 12, they seem to grow up in a matter of only 2 hours. So, this is the reason that, time management gadgets and the systems that we are traditionally used to working with don't work. And it's really because they're designed to manage clock time. Clock time is irrelevant. You don't live in or even have access to clock time. There's a clear starting point, there's a clear ending point, but we don't live in this every day. We live in real time. And this is a world in which all time flies when you are having fun, or it drags when, for an example, taxes are due tomorrow. It drags when you're having to break down and do your taxes. But the good news is that real time is 100% mental. So this is exactly what we tell our customers and our challengers about taking that first step in their own health and fitness, right? It's all in their mind. It's 100% mental. Your body will not go where your mind doesn't push it, right? And it's the same thing as it relates to time management. It's time to remove any of that self-sabotage or that self-limitation that you have around, okay, I don't have enough time, or it's not the right time to either start in our own health and fitness journey or start a business or manage our own business properly. But there's only 3 ways that we can spend our time. And this is through our thoughts, our conversations, and our actions. So regardless of the type of business that we own or the type of task that we have at hand, our work will be composed of these 3 items no matter what. And it's how we engage in these thoughts and activities and conversations that produce the most of our results. So let's talk about another piece, reflection. No matter where we are in planning our day, we have to have an opportunity to sit back and do some thinking about what is the end result? What is it that we want to see happen? So one of the things that I do is I carry a journal. And this is something that I use for me to help track what I want my progress to be. And this helps me to understand how much I can get done during the course of the day and where my precious moments are going. And so this is a nice way to see how much time you're actually spending as well on producing those results and how much time is wasted on things that are unproductive. And I can tell you one of the things that has just rocked my world and helped keep me super organized is like many of our team members here this year, I invested in one of the passion planners. And no, I am not paid to speak on their behalf. However, this is fabulous. So this in particular allows me to incorporate both the clock time and that real time by giving me a chance to reflect week by week, to brainstorm, to think outside the box, and to document all of it. I don't know about you all, but I've got mama brain big time. And if I don't write it down, guess what? It ain't happening. So this is one really, really helpful way for me to pull all of this together and really look at, are the results that I'm looking for, are they giving me the productivity that I need, or am I just spinning my wheels? The other thing is any activity or conversation that's important to our success should have a time assigned to it. And so I can tell you in my full-time job now, my entire day is structured. I live by my Outlook calendar. So at any given point, I can look in, as I said, I'm a corporate recruiter, and my full-time job days are based upon, okay, I'm scheduling this block of time where I'm going to do that proactive sourcing. I'm going to reach out to those proactive candidates. I'm going to talk to them about a job that we have. Or maybe I've got this time set aside to do a calibration call with my hiring manager and talk about what the next steps are. But every single component of my full-time job is broken apart into appointments. And, you think about it, we go to get our hair done or our nails did. We schedule appointments. This is how we block our time. And the same methodology can apply into our business as well. So you'll see that, how much of the time is being productive. And the other thing too, I don't know about you, I have to-do list for years. And it always seems like they get longer and longer to the point where they're unworkable. Fact of the matter is that appointment books work. Schedule appointments with yourself and create these blocks of times for high priority thoughts, conversations, and actions, and schedule when they're going to start and when they're going to end. And the biggest thing is have discipline to keep these appointments. We talk about this in our own health and fitness, right? We tell our customers it takes 21 days to create a habit, right? And the same is true with regards to setting appointments. If you get in the habit of allocating something to a block of time, not only is it going to keep you focused and knowing what your time is committing to, but after a while it becomes like second nature, and you're going to make it part of a lifestyle. So this is just giving you a snapshot of my Honest to God, personal schedule for this week. I am a huge fan of Google Calendar, not only for the fact that I can access it anywhere on my mobile phone, smartphone, my tablet, if I'm away, even during my workday, if I need to tweak anything. And what you can see here, I'm pretty OCD, so I tend to color code everything just as a visual, give me a really quick snapshot of what I need to do. So I'll kind of walk you through a typical day. The biggest thing that I get is, okay, Steph, you work 40, 50 hours a week and you run your own business and you have a family and a husband. How do you fit it all in? Well, this is exactly how I do it. Usually my mornings start around 4:30. There's sometimes I hit the snooze button and I'll get up at 5, but you better trust and believe that snooze button says snooze is for quitters, get your butt up. So normally if I don't get up at 4:30, get in my 30-minute workout, it ain't happening during the day. So I block that time out in my calendar. And then around 5 o'clock, between 5 and 5:30, this is where I check in with my challenge groups. I check in with my team. I make sure that I have a morning post set and ready to go to help set the tone for the day. And I dedicate 30 minutes where I can plug in quickly. I have a short to-do list and I can get it done and then get off to getting myself dressed, showered, prettied up, makeup on, looking presentable to be out in public. And then it's time to get my kids up and dressed and ready. And I tell you, I am very fortunate and blessed to have my husband tag team with me during the mornings where I can't get my own stuff together. But this is how I break apart my morning. And then from 8 a.m. to noon, I am 100% dedicated to my full-time job. That's something I believe in my heart I want to be committed to through the end. But then during 12 to 1, during my lunch hour, I've made it a point, this is my power hour. And I track a note of what I want to accomplish, who I want to reach out to and invite, who I want to talk to, who I need to follow up with. And I make sure that I'm getting the most of my time maximized in that hour. And then from back to 1 p.m. to 5, I'm back in recruiter mode and I'm focused on my full-time job. Now, one thing that's really important to point out on here is you'll see I have in red because it is the most important. This is part of my why and many of yours as well, is from the moment that I step foot into the door at home until my kids are ready for bed, this is my time with my family. And when I first started in this business, I did a horrible job. I failed miserably at really finding that balance. And I would come home and I would be attached to my phone, or I'd need to log onto the computer and babe, it'll take me just a minute. And here we are 20 minutes later and I'm not even halfway done. And it took a lot of conversations with even my husband and my kids saying, Mom, you're always on your phone, where I needed to do some soul searching and I need to put myself in check. And the best way for me to make sure that I do this is to block this time off where I have it on my schedule. My phone is put away, my computer is off, and this is my time to reconnect and spend time with my family. They are the most important things in my world. This is why I'm doing this. And they deserve at least those 3 hours at the end of every night, if not more, obviously. But then, afterwards, it's time for me to, from 8:30 until about 9:30, even just 30 minutes, if I can get with my husband to sit down, talk about our day and just reconnect and, shoot the breeze. This is our time to reconnect. And then 9:30 is normally when I check back in with my challenge groups. I'll reach back out. I'll answer any unanswered messages. And I wrap things up so that way I don't go to sleep with things still resting on my mind that I didn't tackle for the day. And as you can see, even throughout the week, you'll see little posts, in blue, posts for Wellness Wednesday or Thankful Thursday or Fun Fact Friday. And these are all things that I've also made it a point to put in my schedule so that way it takes the dummy work and the guesswork out of when I am posting to my fitness page. As you've heard from some of our coaches during this training, I know, Megan mentioned earlier in her video this week of taking that time during the weekend, scheduling your post ahead of time. And I'll tell you, this is something that really was a game changer for me. So that way it took away the anxiety and time management of struggling with, what am I going to post? Is this going to be valuable? So my weekends, I try as much as possible to check out of social media and really give that time to my family because I'm away from them all week at work. But I do schedule time to really get in some time where I can focus on my business. So Saturday morning, an hour and a half, I'll focus on my power hour and I'll just plug away and I'll get stuff done. As you can see, I have posts scheduled as well. And then on Sunday, I prep for the week. And then I also spend time in the afternoon just before our bedtime routine and cranking out 2 hours worth of a double duty power hour. And this helps to make sure that I set my week on a good tone, that I am ahead of the curve, and I'm not leaving anything undone and kind of backpedaling throughout the week. One of the things that I really like about Google Calendar is it has the ability to send me reminders. So for an example, for this call tonight, I got an email reminder 15 minutes before that said, don't forget, you've got a time management call training. So no matter where I am, and even if I'm caught up in 50 million other things, I can get that reminder and I can access it, go back, and I can view my checklist, and it helps to make my world a little bit easier. It's like my own electronic personal assistant. So, but let's talk about balance. We talk about this all the time, especially with our customers, right? And it doesn't have to be all or nothing. Plan to spend 50% of your time engaged in the thoughts and activities and conversations that produce you the most results. And the best way I can explain this, a lot of times when we multitask, we're trying to tackle 5 different things at once, right? And what ends up happening is, yeah, that's great. We can juggle all of those things, but we have to determine where the better value is. Do we want to spend maybe 100% of our attention devoted on one major to-do item, or do we want to divide that in 2 major things, maybe 50-50, or do we want to focus on, let's say, 5 different items, and really we're only dedicating 20% of our energy and effort towards each of them respectively? So 50% is always a good rule of thumb. Spend this amount of time thinking about the results that you want and planning based on that. Expect the unexpected. Even as we speak, I am waiting for one of my 2 babies to march their little behinds upstairs and call mom at least 5 times and come in and, Mom, what you doing? So this is part of my world, especially being a mom. And one thing that I can tell you is, plan time to be pulled away from what you're doing. So take, for instance, that idea of having quote unquote office hours. This was something that I really tried doing when I first started this business. And I said, okay, on Saturdays, I'm going to have office hours from blah, blah, blah. Well, and what ended up happening was, I would have one of my little ones wake up super early and they'd want to sit downstairs and snuggle and watch TV, and, or we'd have something come up and we'd have to run out and do an errand, or there would be something that would come up. And then I would feel guilty because, well, these are office hours. I'm not working and I'm doing this. If you anticipate that you're going to get a curveball, if you're anything like me, it's going to make it easier to navigate through that change, to kind of tread the waters, knowing that there's going to be an interruption versus thinking that everything's going to be perfect, everything's going to be smooth sailing, and then you have that hiccup that comes in, and now you've got to, kind of stress and play damage control. Expect that interruptions are going to happen, and you'll be better prepared to navigate through those. We talk about planning all the time. We tell our challengers, our customers, about plan your week, plan your meals, schedule that time when you're going to get your workouts in. So one of the things that helps me, especially being a busy full-time working mom and busy coach, is I take the first 30 minutes of every single day to plan my day. So I don't start my day until I complete this plan. And for me, this is something that I do and I think about while I'm completing my 30-minute workouts in the morning. I think about my day and I start structuring my time around the most important to-do list items. And really those most important times of my day is the time that I need to schedule my time. I need to have a plan. Otherwise, I know I even throw out the term fake it till you make it. It's been my lifeline for many other things, but even with kind of faking it, I still have a plan behind what I'm doing, and I'm just, I'm taking that leap of faith and I'm doing it anyway. But make sure that we take a dose of our own medicine. We're telling our customers, our team to plan ahead, and we need to make sure to do the same as well. But also with part of planning, make sure that you're also planning your results. Take a couple minutes before every task or before any team call or call with a potential customer and decide what results you want to attain. And this will help you to know what success looks like before you even start. And it also helps to kind of slow time down. So if you take this time after each activity, determine what your desired results was, if it was achieved, if not, what was missing. How do you put what's missing into your next activity or your next call? This is all, it kind of brings things full circle, especially when you talk about reflecting, because you're always striving for those results. And as long as you keep that, the prize in mind, you're going to be in the right direction. It's going to help to better manage your time. The other thing, and I will tell you, I have a horrible time with this. So I'm sharing this with you as means to give myself a dose of my own medicine, is, sometimes we have to put up a do not disturb sign when we absolutely have to get work done. And in my case, there's been plenty of times where I wish, like, I reach for the pile of sticky notes and I would love to slap it on my forehead and just stick it there. But being able to step away and really be 100% committed into what we're doing. So, practice not answering the phone just because it's ringing, or answering emails because your phone dings and you got a new note that came through just because they show up. Disconnect instant messaging. Don't instantly give people your attention unless it is 100% crucial to your business to offer an immediate human response. And for me, this is something that I still struggle with right now, because I want so badly to provide that outstanding customer service. It's kind of engraved in just who I am, from the moment that I started working. Gosh, even in high school and college as a waitress and waiting tables, you kind of learn really quickly how important it is to have good customer service. And so I felt like if I was not responding right then and there, that they were going to turn to someone or something else, and that was going to get their attention and give them the focus. And I was missing that opportunity, when in reality, I was doing more harm than good by being a short order cook. And, let's put it in perspective. How many of us are parents and we sit down at dinner and, in my case, I've got a plan. I know exactly what we're making for dinner. I've got everything prepped ahead of time. Emma wants something completely different. Brody wants to order pizza. Jeremy doesn't want vegetables, God forbid, because he doesn't eat them. And here I am having to reconfigure our dinner plans. And you're essentially trying to create a system that fits for everybody. And the fact of the matter is that it doesn't work. It doesn't always work. Block out these other distractions, especially Facebook and social media during this time. Unless, I know we use these tools to generate business, but again, we have to prioritize. Sometimes it is going to help us to maintain focus and to just take a break, to just step away. I can promise you it's not going to be the end of the world, and there will come a point where you will be thankful for it's almost like taking a mental vacation, to step away, come back and tackle it later. The 80-20 rule, this is something that I had not really heard a whole lot about. And listening to some professional development, I had someone that was talking about it and kind of struck a chord. So I wanted to share this with you. And, remember that it is absolutely impossible. We cannot get everything done at once. And if you can, please share your magic tips with me, because I would love to learn. But remember that the odds are really good that even if 20% of your thoughts, conversations, and activities produce 80% of your results, that's pretty significant. So again, plan, but plan smart. Plan with the end result to have action at the end of the day. When all is said and done, you guys, with time management, as I said before, we all share the same 24 hours in a day. There is no cookie cutter system. There's no, magic behind this. It's really an art that you learn to master and tweak along the way. And there's going to be speed bumps that are going to come up, that are going to, interrupt your plan. And, like I said, for someone who is, one of the things about me, I am so much a perfectionist. I'm such a people pleaser. I am petrified of failure. I am a control freak. And so for me, when I talk about, this planning, it's really ingrained in who I am. This is part of my lifeline. And I have panic attacks when something does not go to plan. And I've had to learn that that's going to stress me out. It is not going to be good for my health. And sometimes you've got to let shit go. So don't sweat the small stuff. Oftentimes we worry so much about what is not going well, or what opportunity we missed, or the time that I didn't have, or the time that I wasted. And we are taking that energy and we could be applying that towards something so much more positive. Enjoy the ride. That's why we're doing this. And, the idea of becoming a coach, certainly there are times of ups and downs, and, we all hit our rocky points and we all hit those peaks and valleys. But at the end of the day, it's all part of of this long road and the journey. And, there's a saying, the journey of a 1,000 miles starts with a single step, and you've got to at least take that first step, and you've got to give it a try. One last thing to leave you with before wrapping up is unshare screen. There we go. One final thing to leave you with here is, I know we talk about multitasking and being smarter. And one of the things that's really, really helped me going back to sharing the same 24 hours in a day is I've started learning where I can double up on some things where I don't have to necessarily schedule that block of time in my calendar. So I'll give you an example. The time in my day where I'm driving my kids to daycare, I'm driving to work, I'm driving home. I used to notoriously listen to morning radio and, top 40, and I'd have, a little American Idol session in my car when I was driving. But after thinking about it, I'm like, where am I getting that value? If I'm really that pressed for time and I don't have enough hours to tackle A, B, and C, how can I better utilize the time that I have? So I started using my commutes as a way to plug into personal development or plug into some daily devotionals where it gets my mind right. It creates inspiration. It provides me with content on things that maybe I want to share as posts to my page, or, a next training call that I want to do with my team, or, a type of person, how I'm able to help them in their own health and fitness journey. And this has really been something that's helped to develop me as an individual. So I'm killing two birds with one stone. I'm driving in the car, I'm listening to personal development. And another thing that I've done is, we all talk about our 3 vital behaviors, invite, right? Those of you that are not aware, Facebook Messenger has the capacity to send voice messages. And this has been something for me when I plan my time, has been a game changer for me, because let's be honest, it's so much more fun to hear someone's voice and to hear their tone and enthusiasm than it is to send a text message or write something out, especially if autocorrect is not your friend, like it's not for mine. So one of the things that I also do, if I'm out and about, if I'm, let's say, getting things done around the house, or, even the times I hate to say it, where if I'm driving in the car and I have access to pop my Bluetooth on, I'll reach out, I'll send a quick 1-minute message to a customer, one of my teammates, an old friend that I haven't talked to. Hey girl, hey, how are you doing? Was thinking about you and just wanted to reach out and see how you're doing. It gives that personal touch, and it's something that I can do with a click of a button, and they can hear my voice instead of taking the time to type something out. So think about ways that you can do that, even, working out. Plug into some personal development. Get some, we talk about music being something that inspires all of us. If you're going out on a run or if you're running errands, tap in, listen to some personal development. We talk about only 10 minutes a day, right? Anybody can find time for that. So the idea behind sharing all these tips on time management with you is something that is going to help you to be better organized with your business. And it's also going to give you that sense of relief where you're not going to feel the anxiety of like, oh my God, I've got to hurry up. And you're kind of doing things on the fly to get organized. You have that sense of structure, and after a while, it's going to become part of your lifestyle, and you're going to be able to teach this to your team and to your customers. Like I said, we teach our customers all the time about how important it is to have a plan and to manage their time. Do whatever it takes, right? Get your workouts in, drink your Shakeology, have good nutrition. It's time that we as coaches start taking a dose of our own medicine and start incorporating this into our own schedule. So hopefully you've had quite a number of takeaways during this conversation. And if you have any questions, or even if you have any ideas on things that help you personally, I'm always looking to expand my time management portfolio. Feel welcome to reach out and share them with me. And thank you so much for plugging in with us tonight. Have a good one.